Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
Hi.
Hi, Greg.
Hello.
How are you?
Eh.
Do you know what we're talking
I'm,
about today?
um, the way that the legal system is messed up.
In other countries, yes. so, so today we're talking about Deadman Wonderland. I guess since we always start off this way, is this a yay or an A?
That's actually a very tough question.
A Yahweh or a no way?
It's one of those where, okay, it's a yes if you're into kind of darker themed anime.
Or darker
If
themed
you're if
shows.
you're not, then I wouldn't really suggest this one.
Yep, no cute and cuddly here.
Yeah, like it's different, which I thought it was interesting. I can't say that I loved it, but it was good,
it, wa- it
but
was
it was weird.
it was a thinker. You really had to like sit back and
Yeah, it was different, and like it was just one of those things where like, let's put it like this. So the whole premise of the thing is main character Ganta, he just chillaxing in school, whatever. He was just looking over a brochure where they're gonna take a class trip. His friends are introduced.
and then
They're
bloody
just like,
murder
yeah,
everywhere.
I was getting to that.
Oh, spoilers! Bloody murder
Basically,
everywhere.
class starts. He just sees a floating like Grim Reaper-esque looking thing out the window. He's like, "What's that?" And then at first at first I thought I was just like, "Oh, maybe he's like the only one that gets to see it." Nope. Kid stands up. He's like, "Who the hell is that?"
and then
Just
bye, Felicia.
magic happens, and just the entire room is just slaughtered. Bloody corpses everywhere. The room is destroyed. The only one who survives was Ganta,
So,
who looks over, sees his friend's face, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, she's alive." Nope, it's just the Grim Reaper dude holding her decapitated head.
yeah, I'm. So, he ends up getting basically framed for the entire thing.
Yep, they thought they pinned like it got everybody
No,
assumed like thought that he was the one who murdered and like mass murdered his entire class.
like actually fully framed. We'll go with that. Like not even just kind of just fully framed. Because what they do is they take these people, or I shouldn't go there yet, but he gets sent off to prison.
To the prison that they were actually going to visit, which is called Deadman Wonderland, because it's a prison that's also an amusement park ran by the prisoners.
As yeah, like think about SeaWorld, except replace all of the cute dolphins with very, very, very hungry and mad prisoners.
Like each one of them is in there for different things. Deadman Wonderland is a privately owned prison. It's the only one in Japan.
Well, welcome to fucked up number one.
Yeah. And the whole thing behind that is everybody in the prison wears these collars. And they're basically act as like GPS trackers. They can shock the prisoners, stuff like that. Or if you're on death row, it constantly keeps injecting you with a poison that will kill you in 3 days unless you take an antidote piece of candy.
Yeah, so people be fighting for candy. It's just
And then it turns out that Ganta has this ability. I think it's called like like bloodline of sin or something like that.
yeah, they have well, he has a one of the bloodlines of sin.
Yes. And it's basically a power that allows him to manipulate his blood in a certain way. His thing is he can shoot blood as projectiles.
Can I point out that this has to deal with him being reached by this Grim Reaper esque person?
Oh yeah, and like basically gets like a gem embedded into his chest.
And then on top of everything that's happened so far, they're like, no, fam, we just killed a whole bunch of people in front of like school children. You know what? We're going to take you away and we're going to have you fight other people with this rare blood of sin thing for like millions of dollars that we could just get for free because online killing each other is fun.
Yeah, and as long as they pass it off as it's all just a stage, nobody else will know the difference. So,
oh my god, the freaking... Can we talk about the end of those fights?
well, the whole thing is, okay, real quickly, my biggest issue with this anime is there is a lot of plot points and like different things that they set up that they just abandon.
They do.
They set up things so unbelievably crazy, like set things so much stuff up just to abandon it later in the series. Like early on, his big thing was, oh, I gotta somehow find the way, because like in the prison you can earn like in prison currency that you can buy like as whatever you want in the prison. Like you can get like snacks, sodas, food. You have to pay for everything using this in prison currency, and you also have to buy the antidote candies.
Yeah,
and they set that up like that was going to be a big issue. But then they just kind of abandoned it later where, oh, he has all the candy in the world that he wants. Until the very, very end, where that somehow comes back and they're like, oh, crap. We wrote this in as like going to be super important, but then he just has all the candy in the world. Let's just make him lose all of it.
Yeah, no, that's it definitely had. I think part of the problem is that they rushed into it and then they were like, "Oh, we can fix this later," kind of.
Yeah, and then it was just there were so many things that they did that they just like kind of gave up on. It was weird. Like but that's like my biggest issue with it. But anyways, they said it they like there was the fights between all the different like bloodlines of sin people and everything, and like they basically fight until one kills the other or the other just is unable to fight and
passes
the other person
out, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and they're just like, I'm not gonna kill him, I already won. But if you lose the match and you're still alive, you have to do the penalty game.
Let's roll the dice and see what body part we're losing today.
Yes, they do a slot machine where whatever it lands on in front, like broadcasted to whoever's watching this sick, twisted shit, they get whatever body part lands on, could be external, could be internal. They lose that organ and or body part. The first person we see, his name is Senji.
Oh god, that fucking
loses
scene.
He loses his right eye, and considering it wasn't an internal organ, they didn't even put him down for it.
Yeah, if it's not internal, you do not get any sort of relief.
Because later on, we're introduced to Minatsuki or whatever her name is, and she ends up is a super crazy psycho bitch.
Wait, that's a way to put it nicely.
Yes. Well, she basically tricks Ganta into getting himself hurt, so that way she has an edge in the next fight, and she's just very, very crazy. But essentially, she ends up losing the match as well, and she later on, Ganta's just like, yeah, I'm not. Well, during the fight, he's like, I'm not gonna kill her because of various reasons that are kind of like pretty complex, and like he's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna kill her, and so she has to do a penalty game. He's like, sorry that you have to do the penalty game. She's like, I've already lost a kidney, my stomach.
Yeah, I've already lost like everything. Whatever.
And like, so it's just like, oh, what? So basically she they just they built her up as a character too to really not have her do anything.
I think part of the reason why it just felt so empty is that there was no way to like expand on it. Like the way it okay, so let's just skip to the ending, right? Cuz we got the basics down, right?
Yeah.
But if you skip to the ending, he's still stuck in the prison. These characters are still stuck in the prison.
Oh yeah, we never talked about Shiro too.
Someone got melted. That was probably one of the most stomach-turning things I've seen in a show for a while.
Wait, melted?
Yeah, when they bring out the robots because they're trying to escape, and then the...
Oh, yeah.
Dude, my stomach turned so bad on that one. I'm like, oh...
I forgot the robot launched the acid and it just melted him.
Yeah. No, my stomach was not happy with me that day.
I was just like, oh wow. That didn't really faze me too much though. I think the eye thing was just kind of like the
yeah, no,
because they didn't really like show the actual thing. They just kind of like just showed the eye, just like they blacked out everything except like the drawing of the eye and just the eye like coming out. I'm like, even though you're not seeing it being pulled from him, it's just
Yeah, it's not a very friendly show.
But they gave Senji a sweet eye patch because of it.
That's fair enough.
Just makes his character
you're just
cooler.
like, yeah, no, I got a fucking eye patch. Fuck you.
I mean, considering they can take organs, an eye really is pretty light in comparison.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
That or you could have the wheel rigged like what they did for Minatsuki and just have her hair cut.
That was super funny actually.
And like I thought the nurse was just kind of like the doctor chick, whatever. She was at first. I was just like, oh, she's just doing it to do it. No, she kind of got off on it.
Yeah.
Like she's just like, oh, only the hair. Why is that even on here? That's not fun. I'm like, what?
Wait, why wasn't she on that list of people who you just do not fuck with? Like,
because she wasn't really a main important character.
Yeah, but still, I think that deserves some sort of like
recognition.
Yeah, recognition there.
Yeah, there are a lot of crazy chicks in anime. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, the ending is just they're still stuck in the prison, and like he never really discovers who like the Grim Reaper-esque person is, but you learn earlier that it's his childhood friend who she's there. But he doesn't know why, and nobody really knows who she is. Her name's Shiro.
Yeah, so...
And Shiro's super upbeat, super, like basically childlike.
And oblivious.
Yes. But it turns out that once the lullaby, I guess, ends, whatever that is, she becomes that, like, Grim Reaper-esque person.
Yeah.
Where she is the spawn of the bloodlines of sin.
Yep. So
known as the wretched egg.
So yeah, super fucked up.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, no, this show is weird. I was gonna point out like one other thing. I think like the main problem it has is that it had one season.
Yeah, it looks like the manga went farther because like some of these characters were never introduced in the actual series.
Yeah, but like in terms of like development and how the series itself went, you end up losing quite a bit. Like you could have had an entire season based around just him trying to survive the games in the prison or whatever. Like
and then the second season could have been like
more. By the way, shit's gone south, and now you know that you have like these fucking blood powers, and there's fucking
the first season could have been to awakening and like getting to know him.
Yeah, and then you could have like you couldn't really establish some of the other characters, but like. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's the way it's written does not lend itself to being an actual series very well.
Not to mention when he first used his powers, he didn't really use them as a projectile. Like they just kind of became one by them just saying they are. because like when he first used them, it's because the giant rock, like the building was falling on them, and like it just created like a cone that just shattered the rock.
Yeah, so it's like, what sense does this make?
Yeah, like, and then it's like, oh yeah, he fires projectiles. I'm like, that's not really close to what it was. A lot of inconsistencies.
Yeah, it was definitely, and it's not fleshed out as it should have been.
Like it was still good, but it was different.
Yeah. See, I don't know. It's kind of why I like doing this, is because you can just find some really different things that.
Ever since we started doing this, I've started like overly analyzing certain like aspects of series that I'm watching.
Oh, by the way, thanks for this show making me ruin some of my favorite shows of all time. God.
Like,
I can't even like, dude, I can't even like go to the movies anymore. Like, I'm so fucking cynical now. It's ridiculous.
oh, that's fantastic.
Dude, what was it? It was.
I just
It was like, I'd like to say like a month or two after we started doing this, and my friend wanted to go see Pacific Rim, right?
yeah.
So I'm like, sure, I'll go watch Pacific Rim with you. And we sit down, we watch it, and like, he's like, dude, that thing was awesome. And I'm all like, well, this was wrong, and this was wrong, and this was wrong. I'm like, fuck! Can't just sit down and watch a movie anymore.
I know there's like certain things where it's like if it's something that's like if I'm God, even when I'm watching stuff or even when I'm playing things now, it like I start analyzing stuff more than I should.
Oh, dude, that reminds me. Actually, I was playing a game recently that you should totally pick up. It's free on Steam. Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh God.
Dude, I'm telling you, you want to play it.
Oh God.
Like,
All right, but I was gonna say let's get back to the actual topic because we strayed pretty hard.
but that's what we do.
I know.
Time out. We do that.
I know.
Did
but,
we do that? I think we did it.
Did you have a favorite character of Deadman Wonderland?
Oh. It's hard to say.
Because I loved the Warden.
The Warden?
The one like super uptight, the chick with the sword.
Oh, yeah.
Makina or whatever.
Yeah, Makina.
I loved her. She was awesome. I wish they did more with her. Like she actually discovered and she would have like helped the special like bloodline of sin people.
I liked, actually, you know what? You hated her, but I liked her, Minatsuki.
No, I didn't say I hated her. I was just saying. I just said that she was just a very she was psycho. I never said I hated her.
No, I won't even say that she's psycho. Like, if you're in a situation where you're gonna get body parts ripped out of you if you lose, like, you take whatever fucking advantages you can get. If you're gonna be crafty with it, be crafty with it. Like, that's all I'm saying.
She flat out says in their fight, like, if I'm remembering correctly, she said that your cries or like your screams or whatever, like your look of anguish is gonna make me come.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's kind of psychotic.
Well, after you started losing things and been like, you know what, you have to give her some kind of pass because she's gonna have some sort of mental problems after that kind of shit happens.
She was like that before she got locked up.
Shh.
Don't
make excuses. Don't make excuses.
They're not excuses. You should be saying don't throw your facts at me.
No, that's fine. I don't know. I thought that according to the circumstances she wasn't out of line even though she could have been beforehand.
I just like the Warden how she just didn't care about anything and she just did things however she wanted. Like just right away I was just like I like you when the new prisoners are lined up and like she's like okay everything is in your bag that you're gonna need is like do you guys have any questions? A prisoner is just like yeah what size are those tits? She's like G any other questions?
just nailed it.
It's like I'm just like, well. And then her assistant, who's basically in love with her.
God. Dude, what's really funny is there are like if you wait for this one to blow over, right? And you go back and try to remember it, you could remember like a very distinct storyline, but like a lot of these smaller storylines that just kind of like fade away into nothing. Like,
Yep.
I completely forgot about that little exchange that they had. Like,
Yeah. It's so fresh in my mind is because like when I watched this, I kind of binged it. So
yeah.
like everything is fresh in my brain because like I watched it and it pulled my attention, and that was the main thing. The first episode,
Hey!
the thing is
Dead hook though.
when you got a story that's just talking about like going on a class trip, I'm like, oh, they're going to an amusement park called Deadman Wonderland. I'm like, this will be interesting, and then just boom, the entire class just gets slaughtered. I'm like let's like I legitimately I was like making food, and like I was eating while I was watching the first episode, and like I just had like a spoonful of ramen, and I'm just like that happened, and like I was just like the whole class just blown away. I'm like, oh fuck. And then it's like it just and then like becomes conscious and like just sees all the slaughtered bodies. He's like, oh man, and like just the decapitated head of his friend. I'm like, oh fuck. like like as I'm like trying to eat, I'm just like, oh geez.
Yeah. Well, wrong time to eat, huh? This is.
The blood and stuff actually didn't bother me. Like when it's animated and stuff like that, it really doesn't bother me too much. But like if it was in real life, that's when I kind of get about like cuts and wounds.
I don't know.
But like when it's animated, it doesn't bother me too much.
No, but it's one of those like, oh, oops, just why did I make this? Like, what?
No, the worst time to eat that I've ever had when watching a video was like it was when they first started making content was the Game Grumps, and like they're doing like a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing, and I don't remember the whole concept behind it, but like I even made I even made like a comment back before like you needed a whatever account with Google to make comments.
Yeah.
This was back when we were when we were going to school.
Yeah.
Um, and like I was just eating, and like they started talking about like something dealing with like anal juice, and I'm
God.
just like I'm starting to lose my appetite. And like I even put that down. I'm like probably not the best time to be eating when they talked about anal juice. I got like the top comment for like 4 months.
Um. Oh no, my worst one. I've only had two when it was with specifically anime because there's no real life. Like real life blood and guts doesn't bother me. Like there's some really fucked up shit that happens. But like what was it? The first time was Deadman Wonderland when the guy gets fucking melted. And that was when my stomach was like, nah fam, nah. That's messed up. And then the second one was, I think it was more because I had really, really cheap bad pizza.
Oh god.
But it was the first episode of Attack on Titan.
Huh. Yeah, Attack on Titan didn't really do much for me.
But it was the whole when he got swallowed but his hand got like caught in the mouth.
That was funny.
Like yeah, it was funny, but like for me, having really bad pizza beforehand and having broken my arm, I'm just like ugh.
See,
Going home.
when that happened, I'm just like I thought it was just like I thought the mouth was just gonna close and eat him whole, but no, just the fact that his arm got chopped off. I was just like, why? It's like grab my hand. Mouth closes, grabbed it. I got it.
It's all right. You're okay now. We're fine.
Do you need a hand?
Oh God. So
Okay, I think we're pretty much good with the series. Like, there was no real like main episodes that kind of stuck out, considering they're all just kind of jumbled and like towards like the second half is when it actually started following like a plot line.
Yeah, which makes me think that the first part was supposed to be its own season, but just
Yeah, it was weird.
never panned out that way. I don't know. I, it was kind of disappointing, but in terms of like an action show, like if you were looking for kind of just crazy gore and weird stuff like that, I guess, go for it.
Yeah, like it wasn't bad by any sense. You just got to go into it like just not expecting things to make sense.
Yeah, because shit really doesn't fucking make sense. Dude, the whole Shiro and Wretched Egg thing, like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why can't we just, like, get some consistency here, please?
Yeah, I think the like the one thing that kind of like it actually like got me mad as to like why like the fact that they did that in the series was basically it was the part where they were trying to escape initially and they had like the flash drive or whatever
Yeah.
and like Gonta was protecting it and stuff and like they get to the room where like the Undertakers are, which are the Undertakers are like the prison's defense against the bloodlines of sin. They're supposed to be like the countermeasures against them. Well, they were fighting the Undertakers, and the Undertakers just leave because they're like, "Oh, it's about time." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Something's gonna happen." Well, they just escaped, and like, pretty much, um, Shiro comes in, grabs the flash drive, chucks it in a room, and you see the door like pop out from an explosion on the other side. And she's like, "Oh, I made it in time." And they all get pissed at her for throwing the flash drive in there. They're like, that was our only hope, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, did you not see it explode? Like, there was an explosion on the other side of this door. Her back is singed from it.
Genius.
Like, it didn't make any sense. Granted, I think there was like fire on the other side of the room, on that other side of that door, but still, like, don't you think it's like, what was that explosion? Or how about you ask her, it's like, why did you do that? Instead of just being like, it's like, that was our last hope. Why'd you do that, punch? It's like, you, you guys are idiots. Like, that honestly got me mad. Like, because of how stupid they were.
Yeah. Oh, well. All right, so, I don't know. Final score. A very confused, one-eyed man.
Out of 10.
Out of, yeah.
We should just start doing like a really random rating system.
No, it has to be something based on the show. Like, not have any actual meaning to it, but like, it has to be based on the show somehow.
Um, it has to be something based on the show that summarizes the entirety of the show. It gets a Shiro out of 10.
A Shiro? Just straight up Shiro?
Reason being is because the show can be likable on its own, but it just the vast amount of randomness and everything and the inconsistencies with it kind of like deters you away from wanting to like stick around with it. Kind of like Shiro, where like she's a likable character, she's bubbly and everything like that, but she's so random and inconsistent with what she does and how she goes about it that you just kind of want her to go away.
Did you forget to breathe there for a second? That was really funny.
Kind of. Like it was one of those things I was trying to get my full point in on one breath, but I couldn't.
Ongoing sentence, ongoing sentence, ongoing. God.
You can't end a period.
Can't get to
But
period.
with that explanation, do you kind of understand?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, so it gets a Shiro out of 10.
Sure. So, yeah. Cool. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here now.
So,
Started-
so next week,
Should we even do the next week thing anymore? I don't think anyone cares.
yeah,
It's
next time.
considering last time I was like, dude, you should totally finish Gossick.
No, you didn't say I should finish it. It's just, oh yeah, we had to change.
Should totally finish Gossick. Whatever. Gossick might be coming out eventually,
Potentially,
but
whenever I get around to it.
then he has things.
What things? You don't do things.
It's your turn to suggest a fucking show, dipshit.
We're gonna do Mob Psycho 100.
Oh yeah, I would still do things. There you go, Mob Psycho. Just don't start a YouTube channel with fucking douche.
Why are you giving this advice to me now? It's already too late for me.
Bye, Felicia.